Hello, everybody. Welcome to ABC Dry Firing. I have 5 Glocks scattered around me, and the primary focus will not be Glock perfection today. It will be optics and some struggles I faced and some solutions I have uncovered. And I think I have climbed Mount Solutions. I was in the basin of the pit of despair, and now I have climbed Mount Solutions, and I'm looking at all of these problems I have conquered, and we will talk about them in order. So this gun first Glock I ever bought, Glock 47. This gun has a Defender ST on a forward control designs plate. It has excess big dot backup suppressor height sights. I'm very happy with all of this. The Defender ST. The only problem I have had is the plate that Vortex sends with their optics. The screws were too long, and the extractor side screw, when I torqued it, it wasn't fully seated. It was just torqued against the extractor, not to the slide. So it broke that screw the first day because that plate does not fit it's not a very well designed plate. Like that is meant for, I think it's meant for people that don't shoot that much, realistically. And so now I have a forward control designs plate. The screw links are great. I had to email the guy that owns it to get some replacement screws at one point. I'd taken a plate off of something. I don't remember what the deal was, but I ended up missing some screws, and I emailed him. He replaced the screws, no problem. And the Defender ST, I like the battery cap design compared to the Defender XL. This gun has a Defender XL, also has some water for my drink, I guess. Shout out drinks. And shout out shout out Wiener Schnitzel. I had Wiener Schnitzel today. Big wiener guy. Steve Anderson would say, make your own jokes. This is not a joking around channel. So this one has a Defender XL. It had a Defender XL that died at 1,200 rounds. This one never saw the Vortex plate. I immediately went with forward control designs. Red Dot died, switched to a 507 comp. That Red Dot, I bought it from Cabela's, so I just took it back. I didn't do the return like warranty thing. I just got my money back, bought a 507 comp and an Arise manufacturing plate. Then that 507 comp lasted about 1,000 rounds and it died. And so then I'm like, well, crap, if that's what I'm going to be dealing with, I'll just go back to Vortex because I prefer the XL to the 507 comp. And so I did RMA the 507 comp. And in the meantime, while I was waiting on that dot to come back, before I decided I was going to switch back to the XLs, I bought a green one. I had a green one for a while, didn't care for the green dot. Everything I have here is red dots. Then whenever I got that one back, I sold the green dot and I sold the red returned one from Holosun with the plate. And then I bought 2 Defender XLs from Shields when they were on sale for $200 a piece. I have one on another gun, and one is that one. Very few rounds through that one. I think the battery cap design on the XL is kind of silly looking back, but the glass quality is great. The dot is great. Um, like the physical dot in the window, it gets stupid bright. So up to this point, let's recap where I've been. Broken extractor side screw on the original Vortex mounting plate, dead XL at 1,200 rounds, dead 507 comp at less than 1,000, but pretty close to 1,000. And then this is my everyday carry. This is the same. These two are very similar, both Defender STs on forward control plates with excess big dot iron sights. Obviously, they have different size flashlights and different grip tape. This is my bedside gun now. This is one gun that I carry, appendix. Also, this gun does not have a performance trigger. It's just a trigger shoe. And it does have a minus connector as well. This gun has not been shot very much. This dot came off of a different gun, And so the dot has over 5,000 rounds. This gun does not, probably in the neighborhood of 1,000. 1,000 rounds is my sweet spot for some reason. And so, but that one's been no issues to report there. Very happy with forward control designs on these Delta Point Pro pattern footprints. Happy with excess sights. Happy with Defender STs, Defender XLs. I'm going to talk about why I'm not an XL hater or a 507 comp hater, even though I had some bad luck, which brings us to the twins. These are my 2026 guns. As you can probably tell, they're exactly the same. Besides, one of the serial numbers ends in 8, one of them ends in 7. They're USA guns. That's why they have the cool optic guard covers with the American flag, because these are made in USA guns. This one that ends in 7 is my match gun. It's got 600 or 700 rounds through it. This is my training gun. It has, at this point, probably 200. And I don't train very much. No, I'm just kidding. I was doing most of my training with this one, and kind of reason for that, and I guess the one that has a flashlight now, I've been doing some shooting that one as well. This one, my backup, I took it, zeroed it, took it back to the range again, and the optic did not work. And it had like 50 to 75 rounds on it, just whatever it took me to zero it and shoot a little. So I was pretty pissed. By this point, I'd killed a Defender XL, a 507 comp, and now a Trijicon SRO had lasted less than 100 rounds. I got a return authorization from Trijicon, and before I sent it back, someone on Reddit suggested cleaning the childproof coating off the battery, because all of these optics, I don't know, this may be the reason I'm having these problems, but I immediately take the battery out, whatever Chinesium battery they're putting in there, and put an Energizer lithium battery in. And I didn't realize they had this stupid coating, and that this coating would negatively affect the optics. But this one, I put 2 batteries in. It didn't fix the issue. I cleaned one of them with alcohol, put it in, works just fine. Shot it today, no problems. Um, these both have Arise manufacturing plates for RMR footprint. Pretty happy with those. All of these guns, with the exception of this one has never had the optic taken off of it. All the rest of these have had the optic taken off at some point. And both plate companies, Forward Control Designs and Arise, if you put that optic back on, torque it to 12-inch pounds, which is what I do. I think that's Arise's number. It will not need to be re-zeroed. One of these guns today, I don't remember which one of these USA guns, needed 2 clicks because I had to take the optics off to put backup iron sights on. That's a new thing for me. I had been running slick slides, and now I'm back to backup iron sights. I got these off of AIM Surplus, just because with the luck I've been having, I would just rather have backup iron sights for the time being. I'm a little gun shy about that. And so I had to take all the optics off, put them in a sight pusher, push the sights on, and then put the optics back on, re-zero them today, and all of them were like, this one that I ended up doing 2 clicks on, like, it may have just not been perfectly zeroed to begin with, or it might. It's like if we're talking about being half an inch off at 25 yards, um, it's pretty impressive. Talking about iron sights, kind of last thing I'll get on is one of the dumbest things that people say. Oh, this is gonna get me fired up. Is that your red dot and your iron sights are 2 separate sighting systems, so they need to be zeroed independently. That is not true. All of these guns, every gun I've ever had with backup iron sights, I have never checked the zero of the irons. I put them on, I zero the red dot, I slave the irons to the red dot, and anytime I've ever shot with the irons, the bullets are going exactly where they're supposed to. Because if the red dot is zeroed, it's going to tell you exactly on the target where the bullet's going to go. So then you just make the irons match that, and it just works. And then in the case of all three of these that I put irons on yesterday, it's like all I did was just center the rear up with sight pusher, install the front, and just make sure it's like straight, because on these Glocks you can wiggle it just a little bit, make sure it's straight. And then I put the red dot back on. I'm like, oh wow, they're co-witnessed. And then I shot the red dots and I'm like, wow, it's on. And like that's how it's supposed to be. Like I think it's so dumb when people say, oh, you can't slave your irons to your red dot because they're different sighting systems. Like they're shooting the same bullets to the same place. Your windage might be different if you have like 10-yard zero irons and 50-yard zero on your red dot, which would be dumb, but the windage should be exactly the same. And mine are on all of these guns. And the very few times I've ever shot with iron sights, just kind of jacking around, like I've never thought that needed to be any different. So if your irons and your red dot are not perfectly aligned, they're not slaved, for lack of better words, you have some sort of vision issue. It's probably because you're target focused with the red dot, and then you are front sight focused with the front sight, which is leading to a fundamental flaw being able to take over. Your eyes are not covering for this fundamental flaw. And so you're getting so sucked into the front sight that you're not noticing poor trigger pull, and you're then you've zeroed them to make up for a fundamental flaw. So there's a little bit of controversy to end the video to kind of conclude how I have summited, or how I have escaped the pit of problems and summited Mount Solutions. I broke a screw on a vortex plate, had a gunsmith drill it out. I cleaned, and then I couldn't get the extractor out. So I took a drill bit by hand and I just cleaned the extractor channel out. And that fixed the issue. I didn't use a drill, just a drill bit by hand, just slid it in and out a few times to clean up the burr that was on the inside. That's kind of standard operating procedure with me for these Glocks, is check the screw length with calipers. And uh I think I did 5 millimeters. I know there's a formula that the engagement needs to be at least 1.5 times the major diameter of the screw, and that's usually not a problem. But like I remember the vortex screws being like noticeably long. Um, but that's a thing there. The one thing I will say on the Arise, especially on these USA guns, also the non-extractor side, just on the USA guns, I had to Dremel off a little bit of that screw as well. The USA guns aren't drilled as deep for whatever reason. I don't know if that's all of them or if that's, I mean, I have two of them here and both of them were that way. I couldn't get the screw in enough to stop the plate from wiggling without taking a little bit. I mean, like one or two threads off the bottom of the screw is all. Um, what else? Cleaning up the extractor channels, cleaning up the batteries, making sure that the batteries don't have a childproof coating on them, because obviously guns are not for children, at least not for children that chew on batteries. Um, slave your irons to your red dot, like get the red dot zeroed to where the bullets are going to go, and then make the irons match if they don't already. Like, toot my own horn here. Look, none of these guns am I going to need to adjust. I'm going to put some Loctite on the front post to kind of hold it, and there's Loctite on the screw. I'm going to probably put a little bit of green Loctite around it to kind of suck the actual post to the slide. Um, and then I also put Loctite in and around the rear iron sight just to kind of glue it into place. These aim surplus sights fit very tight. I had to, I mean, really crank down on my sight pusher to get them on. Um, and then also, as you can tell, these two are occluded. This one was until I checked the iron sights on it, and I just haven't retaped it yet. I don't have a nice cover for this one. I just use tape. But these, I got the nice covers. I just thought they looked nice. And finally, I will stop any of you from looking stupid. Whenever you say, how are you going to use the iron sights if the red dot quits working and you have the lens covered up and you can't see the front sight post through the optic window? Problem solved. Obviously, if this happened in the middle of a stage, I'd be ripping this off with more vigorous intensity than I did right there. But I'm prepared, fully prepared for someone on Reddit to ask that question. I'm looking forward to it because that is the answer. It's just rip the cover off. It's much easier than ripping tape off. Just grab the optic cover and tear it off. So there's 16 minutes of red dot discussion. If you have any questions, drop a comment.